I purchased a couple of ribeye steaks from Aldi's this week. They were on sale and the price was right. Their choice. And I thought I'd give them a chance to see if they were legit, what we got here. One of them is a little bit more than a pound. The other one also is a little bit more than a pound. They were originally selling for $13.99 a pound, and the sale price brought it down to $8.99 a pound. So each of these is about $10, approximately. I'm going to cook these ribeye steaks in a cast iron skillet. I'm going to do the sear method with butter and garlic, thyme, rosemary, and maybe even some beef tallow. And we're going to see how they do. Going into the prep of these ribeyes, I've got some black pepper, Hawaiian salt, rosemary, thyme, lots of garlic, a half a stick of butter, and I've also got some beef tallow here that I'm going to be using to sear the steaks instead of using a canola oil or grapeseed oil, avocado oil, or any of those. The first step in prepping these steaks is to dry them off. I'm not going to do any trimming, so this isn't going to be a competition steak trim or anything like that. We're just going to leave them as is and do the cook. So I dry them off as much as possible for this stage of the preparation. Then I'm going to take what I usually use for my sausages to prick little holes to get the air out of sausages. And I'm going to be using this on these steaks. And we're just going to poke holes all in the steaks like this. Now I'm not going to use a jagged for this because a jagged would tend to try to flatten out the steak, whereas this sausage prick just puts little holes in there to help in the tenderization. So we're doing this on both sides and going through the meat as well as some of that fat that's between the spinalis and the eye of the ribeye. Same thing for the second steak. These are choice, as I mentioned before, so they're not greatly marbled, though they do have some. And what I'm hoping is that the pricking them will for sure help with the tenderization. Okay, once I've done all that pricking, then I'm going to take a generous portion of salt and salt both of these steaks on both sides. In addition to the outer sides. And this is going to be like a dry brining, because these are going to go in the refrigerator for 4 or 5 hours until we're ready to cook them. Now I did mention that I'm not going to trim these, but by the way that some of them look, I'm going to have to put these little skewers in it to hold it together. So I'm going to go, let's go here first. I'm just going in the middle of the meat, all the way in, and that's in hopes of just keeping that from falling apart on that side. And I'm going to do the same thing on this section, going in there and across. This one, I'm also going to put some skewers in. stick this last one right there, because this piece looks like it wants to drop off. Okay, now these are going to go in the refrigerator, uncovered, and we'll come back to them in a few hours. My steaks have been in the refrigerator for 4 hours actually. So now I dried them again just to make sure they're dry, and I'm going to be adding some salt and pepper. What I have here is some Hawaiian salt. It's pretty coarse, but it has a great, great flavor. So we're going to put some more of that. Keep in mind that we already put salt on it to dry brine it, but a lot of that may have melted off in the juice that came off the steaks. So I'm just adding more. Then we're going to add pepper. This is coarse ground pepper. Turn it over. Move the paper towels. And we'll add the Hawaiian salt. Now, I'm going to let you sit for about another 15-20 minutes so they can come to room temperature, and we'll put them in the cast iron skillet and get them seared up. I've got this skillet pretty hot. You see the smoke coming off of it. Got that nice sizzle. This is the first steak, and what I did was I put a little bit of beef tallow on the side that's on the skillet, and then put it on the very, very hot cast iron skillet. Lots of sizzle. Gonna cook that on that side for, I think I said 2 minutes before, but it's gonna be 3 minutes. That has been 3 minutes. Let's turn it over. Get a look-see of what it looks like. Looking pretty good, aren't we? Now we'll turn it on the other side. And we'll set again for another 3 minutes. Now I've got 3 minutes on this side, and I'm going to add some butter and the beef tallow. And I've got some garlic. That in there, along with rosemary and thyme. And butter. And we're going to steam that over the steak. It's pretty hot, even though I've got cotton gloves underneath. And let it rest. We're good to go.